Hey, this is Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com, and today I want to talk a little bit about one of the issues we're having at our house, which is clearing land. We are looking to expand our horse pasture, but I've been looking into a lot of things like silvopasture, which means that you run your horse or other animals in the woods, but you've got some risks with it. You've got holes from animals that are digging. We have quite a few groundhogs that like our property. They actually avoid the neighbor's land on the other side that's completely clear, probably because the bald eagles kill anything that goes over there. So I'm trying to keep some of the vegetation without leaving anything that could be poisonous to the horses or to the other animals, such as nightshades, which we've actually found on our property. So what we're doing is we're trying to slowly go along this fence line, which is the metal fence on the other side is our neighbor's, and kind of extend our electric fence to go back along that fence line as well. It's really expensive to have it cleared, thousands of dollars. Not really in the budget. We don't mind a little hard work, but you know, we're trying to think of some creative ways to clear it and clear it possibly a little bit on the slower side, so we're not running up a huge amount of cost all at once. So if you have any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comment. I wrote a whole blog post about this topic and planning and all that good stuff on DIYDanielle.com, but I'm going to show you the space a little bit, talk about some of the ideas we've had for clearing it with less backbreaking work. In this area right up here, it's just like a little small triangular area. We got a quote for clearing it that was going to be around, I think, $2,000 to $3,000. As you can see, there's not really a lot here, but it's all on a hill, which is really difficult to clear, particularly if you're bringing in vehicles going downhill and all that good stuff. So it doesn't look too bad now, but in the summer it gets pretty dense. A lot of growth here, but in order to ever run our horse field up there where we own like a little teeny strip of land, we would need to clear that. So again, it's a consideration. And the other consideration we have to think about is we are on a downhill slope, so anything we remove, obviously trash builds up here too, anything we remove is possibly going to cause some erosion issues. So if we want to plant grass here, then we need to make sure that the grass can get sunlight to grow, or that the grass is going to grow in a shade area. Certain types of grasses will do that. But we're going to have to remove some of the trees, particularly ones we don't want, such as the tree of heaven, which is an invasive, kind of horrible tree that's growing everywhere in Maryland. But we still want to keep some trees with good root systems to help hold the soil together, keep it from just rolling right down the hill into the neighbor's fields, because we don't want any erosion taking out this land and making it a little bit more of a hill. So kind of a little bit of a balance there, trying to figure out some of this. And again, I don't know, it's not really gaining us a ton, but we would like to have access to that area for a field. But yeah, this little teeny zone was like $2,000 or $3,000, just to give you kind of an idea. Now they would have been pulling in some large equipment to do the work as well, which of course cost. And for that price, they were going to be dropping, or they would have been wood chipping all of the wood, and we would have kept the wood chips, so they wouldn't have had to dispose, which would have cost extra for disposal. So this is a pretty good example of an area we've started to clear. As you could see, there's our neighbor's fence line for their cows. And we've been trying to keep the horses away, or the horse away, using electric fencing, which isn't on right now. But we've slowly been chipping away at this end first because it's a little easier. There's not as much vegetation to work through. You see my husband's been using his the tractor to haul away some of the wood and cutting things up with his oh my gosh this thing, Some of these trees, you'll notice some of them are old and dead. We really need to work on those. Some of them are on the other side of the fence, so it's sort of the neighbor's responsibility, but I'm sure some of our stuff has fallen on his land at some point, because this has not been really maintained. Even our property on this end wasn't really cut when we moved in. So we've kind of been going through and cutting things up. We'd like to keep some of the trees and some of the vines. We've got some really nice, unfortunately invasive honeysuckle, but it smells amazing, and it's not something I really want to give up. But a lot of the dead vegetation, dead trees, we want to cut away and start working to move this closer to the fence line. As you can see, the fence line goes further back, and we have a larger area to clear right here. Now, if we go way back here, there's actually a ton of vegetation, very thick and dense, particularly in the summer. And we've been slowly chipping away at it, but it's really a little bit too hard work for our tractor. And so we either need to hire help, or we've been running our goats and sheep back there. You can see the fence line for the sheep and the goats goes back in that area. But I'm thinking about getting a few pigs, feeder pigs, to throw back there for the year, bring them out water and feed, of course, but they will root up a lot of vegetation, blackberry bushes, that sort of thing. And the goats would probably help them as well. That way it's not just on the 3 little teeny mini goats that I own, or those sheep who mostly like grass.